And welcome back, guys. Apologies for earlier on and the unexpected, just the impromptu 420 news. It was short and sweet. Just came on for a little bit of civil disobedience earlier, and as promised, I do have some headlines lined up for you today. I was out there, Sean M. What's going on? He says, "Welcome back, Martin. We kept your seat." Nice and Sean. Appreciate that, buddy. I wonder where it is 420 right now, actually. You should look at the 420worldclock.com. And it is 420, what's that, in 29 minutes? What kind of wizardry are we looking at here? How is it fucking 420 in 29 minutes? I think the 420 world clock is broke. No, seriously, I actually think that the 420 world clock is broke. I'll pop it up on screen there now, feet. See, oops, that's the wrong one. Boom, boom, there we go. So there you go. There's the 420 world clock up, and oh no, it's not coming up on screen. Why? Boom. You see? What's going on with the boys? Are they like half an hour behind us or something? What's going on here? Shenanigans. Oh, yes. Let's find out. Where is it 420 in the world? Yeah, look, Halifax. Look, Halifax are like a half an hour. What's this? I never knew there was a gaff like that, that's a half an hour. It's got its own little freaking half an hour. I thought it's all like hours. I thought like the world was broken up into hours. But look, no, actually, no, look, fucking down here, Yangon, there's a half hour there as well. Oh, now guys, there you go. There, we can actually just end the stream now because we all just learned something new. We should really just quit while we're ahead. So yes, it's going to be 420 in the next 28 minutes over in St. John's, Newfoundland, Labrador. Yeah, Labrador, that's where Cheech got his cannabis from. Glace Bay and Halifax. So there you go, guys. There you go. Where was it just 420? It was just 420 in Miquelon. Nook. Where's Miquelon? Alright, it's French island. There you go. More useless information for you there, guys. Right, let's get some nugs there into this grinder. Let's grind some stuff up, and we blaze one up for this late out little Friday evening session. Oh, what should we go for? I think we'll go for some 8472. Yes, some beautiful nugs of 8472 here. Ooh. What? Oh, yes. Delightful old smell as well. Oh yes. What are y'all hooting on out there in the hot box, guys? In the festive hot box. Yes, it is the Christmas season, the month of December, guys. So we'll festive up the old stream for a bit. Hunter K is in the audience. Welcome back to the show, Hunter. Hype is in the audience. Al Creighton's out there as well. What's Al saying? Cock needs wound up. Not like us. I imagine you said you meant to say clock there. I think anyway. Killian's in the audience as well. What's happening, Killian? Not all time zones are 1 hour apart. Yeah, I only just learned that there, Killian, man. Anytime I was ever looking at these world map, the clocks where you have like a world map and it's like spread out in the clocks, I always just assumed there was hours. I never actually seen one that was a half an hour. So that right there, man, was news for me. Like my whole world has just been turned upside down. Oh yes. Oh, this 8472 as well is like really resinous as well. I feel all the resin on my fingers here. Teresa's in the audience. What's happening, Teresa? Look forward to our little shindig tomorrow evening. We'll have the brownies ready, nice and fresh out of the oven once you arrive down. Black White Italian. What's happening, Black White Italian? Happy 423 in some areas, he says. And we're just after missing 424 there as well, which is, sure, what else is 424? Keith Griffin, what up? What's happening? Black White Italian says, that's useless. Well, they probably speak French. Nice illegal fruity fully MJ, yes. It's made sweeter by the fact that it's illegal. I think once cannabis is legal, I'm just going to give it up because it's not going to be as attractive anymore. I like the rebellious side of like breaking the law to consume something and coming on here on the internet and doing it publicly for everybody to see. Like, you know, it's going to be no fun like coming on here taking hits from the bong. Like, you know, it's not even going to be civil disobedience once it's legal. Like, so where's the fun in that? Nah, it's still going to be just as fun. But not for the young people. Yes, it's the young people I was referring to there, the younger generation who would see cannabis as being, you know, more attractive because, like, oh, it's illegal. What? I shouldn't do this, but I must. I must because you told me not to. And sadly, that is how young people's minds work, like, you know. The old reverse psychology definitely would work in that one, like, you know, make cannabis legal for like 12-year-olds and it's probably people won't smoke it until they're 40. Jokes, not saying make cannabis legal for 12-year-olds. Gears, what's happening out there? He says, have you tried or heard of Delta 8 THC flower? As recently found out about it and I managed to get some delivered to the UK from the US and it does the job. Yeah, that's right. The Delta 8 THC flower is another flower that the Delta 8 THC, when you consume it, it gets converted within the body and gives you a psychoactive high. I'm not too sure of the pharmacology there as to what it converts to, but I do believe it converts to something similar to THC, if not actually that it does convert to THC. But I have seen other reports out there then as well in the US where these Delta 8 THC vapes were being linked to some kind of undesirable side effects. There was patients out there who bought them because they were legal in their state, and it didn't agree with them at all. Some patients who used them said it gave them heightened states of anxiety, just stuff that they were not used to with regular cannabis that they were used to with regular just the Delta 9 THC. So again, this is kind of a new emerging thing there within the US. I suppose it came about maybe within the last 24 months, I would say. But still, you know, just can't, like, again, this is just people trying to work around prohibition. And are they putting people more at risk? I don't know. But Delta 8 THC anyway, from some patients' accounts, completely anecdotal stuff, there was some undesirable side effects. But that could happen as well from just regular THC if you get too strong a variety of THC. So that could have been the case with the Delta 8 THC. Maybe there was just too much in there for these patients whose accounts I read, and I'm basing my opinion kind of off of a little bit. I suppose don't knock it till you try, isn't that right? Send us on over some there and we'll try it out, Gears. Monsieur Fudge says, a no-name strain, but I'm not complaining. She's a beaut. Nice. Enjoy, man. Blaze on up. Mark Jenkins, what's happening? Do you want it or not? Yeah, I've heard of that one. That's quite a popular strain out there. Do you want it or not? Others in the audience, yes, CG, big bong rip. Nice. Yeah, we'll get a big bong rip going there now in a couple of seconds. Others in the audience, Liam McGorman, what's happening? Merry Christmas, Martin's World. And how's it going, Fudge? Yeah, at least that's coming from Liam McGorman. Hype says, careful where you order from, Gears. Some dodgy terps put into some of them. Yeah, that goes with all your cannabis currently when you're sourcing it from a prohibited market where it's not regulated. Definitely be careful. If you'd like to try some Delta 8 THC, I would suggest maybe try to grow some yourself, because you never really can be assured what you're getting in the post unless it's coming from a trustworthy source. You know, I know some people over in the States, and if they were to say that they were sending me some flowers that they contain Delta 8 THC, I would trust them. And I would trust that they would go and buy them off a reputable retailer then as well. So that is another way in which you could protect yourself. And maybe that is what you've done already, Gers. You know somebody over there and they're kind enough to send you home a care package. Also seen a nice message coming in there from Hype. Hype says, Happy High-Day. So thanks very much there, Hype. Hype is always a great supporter of the show. Thanks very much, Hype, there. And happy High-Day to yourself as well. In fact, we'll send the next bowl of civil disobedience out to yourself, Hype. Hopefully someday soon we'll get to sit down and actually share these together, Hype, and actually blaze up in person. So blaze up there, guys, if you got it. Also, I'd like to take a second just to give a shout out to an old listener of the show who hasn't tuned in for a while, but for very good reason. And I'd like to just send well wishes there to the young Jamie, Mr. Dr. Russell Banta. He was feeling a bit unwell there over the last month or so. We've lost contact as his phone broke and things like that. But glad to hear from him there the other day, and send him well wishes there. Hopefully it's a speedy recovery. I believe Russell just had a bit of a toothache that just escalated. It just got complicated, and I won't spill any of his stuff, but it's good to have heard from you, and send well wishes there to you, Russell, wherever you might be, buddy. Hopefully you're watching back. If you're not in the audience, say hi. Or if you are in the audience, say hi. Others out there, Gears, I don't know, LOL, but I am fine so far. I think it might be better compared to some dodgy street weed I've had in the past. Yeah, that's it. I think maybe that patient that I'm referring to there, maybe they just got a high strength of it. I believe they also were using a vape for version of it, like a vaporizer cartridge was another one of those reports that I was reading. So again, some issues that could have been caused by that too. Others, Liam McGorman, just chilling, slow and steady wins the race. Nice. Black, white, Italian, but the conversion from CBD to Delta 8 THC may not be so great. Yeah, I've seen there was conversions as well of CBD back to THC and stuff like that out there, but it's like the efficiencies of these things, like, is it even worth it? And you have to be really, really fucking highly trained chemist to be able to pull them off as well. Others out there, were you thinking how many months? But no, it was 20 something. Hey, what's happening, High and Homegrown? What's going on? The guys will be going live there later on, so hopefully we don't overlap. I'll make sure that the stream has ended by 9, High and Homegrown, and we'll be joining you for the session then after this. So yes, guys, the High and Homegrown, they'll be going live. They're going live every Friday at 9 o'clock, so check out the session after this if you've got no other plans. CG, what happened with the stream of 420? CG got pulled away. Daddy duties, as sorry, but priorities, kids do come first. As important and as loved as all of you are out there by me, sorry, my kids do come first. So I popped on a 420 just to say a quick howdy, just to explain I'll be going live again a little bit later at 7, and we blazed up 2 bowls there with the people who were there anyway, and had just a quick back and forth through the comments. That was it. But here we are, better late than never. Is that not the case? White privilege is a myth. It's called a majority privilege. That's coming in from High and Homegrown, replying to Black Italian saying he didn't address the white privilege message. Calm down with the casual racism. Yeah, stop hating on us white folks. Or me, my half-caste self. High and Homegrown's asking, like, you think there is white privilege in China? Right. Right, guys, let's drive on with the news for today, and welcome everybody to today's 420 news. It is a little bit later than usual. We normally go live Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays at 420, but just a spanner being thrown in the works there with the kids and all of that. But yes, here we are. Let's get stuck into it. So the first headline then today, guys, it is the Epidiolex. We close this Chrome. Epidiolex has been approved for use under the Medicinal Cannabis Access Programme here in Ireland. So the HSE has approved the Epidiolex for use by epilepsy patients. And as I say here in the subheading, good day for some patients but an incredible day for the investors of Jazz Pharmaceuticals who recently purchased GW Pharmaceuticals. Sorry, bit of food coming on my tooth there. But yes, this is a great day for the investors there in Jazz Pharmaceuticals, as their product Epidiolex has been approved for use on the Irish market. So that means that if you're a patient in Ireland and you've satisfied the criteria there for use of medical cannabis under the guidelines for epilepsy, so that basically means that you've had to have tried all of the available medications there for epilepsy and they have not worked for you, before you're considered an appropriate candidate then for medical cannabis. So for the patients, the very, very small amount of them, because it is a tiny, tiny fraction of the patients who will benefit from this program. Because as I said, they had to have undergone treatment with all of the other conventional medicines. Some of those medicines might work for those people, but unfortunately for those people, they might have found that cannabis might have been a better medicine for them, because it's less toxic and it's got far less side effects as well as some of these other medications out there. So it's an interesting play there in Ireland, as we see another product approved for use under the Medical Cannabis Access Programme. And this is following on from cannabis flowers being added there last week, which was a great step forward. And again, you have to ask the question, but why is it that these products are getting approved for use, but yet still you or I would be locked up if we were to start beginning to grow these plants for ourselves and to produce products like these for our loved ones, because we can't afford what is it? It's about like 400 or 500 quid there a month for a bottle of the Epidiolex. A 100 milliliter bottle of Epidiolex, it costs in roughly about 400 to 500 quid. Maybe they've gotten a better price on that since. But the last I've heard anyway from, I believe it was Deborah Downey who was buying it for her daughter Abigail, and she was saying that those bottles were costing their family €500 a month. That's a lot of money, like they have to be forking out. Just going to pop up on screen, there's an old picture of the Epidiolex product. So there you're seeing a 100 milligram per milliliter bottle, and that is, I believe that's a 100 milliliter bottle then as well. So you're basically saying that there is 10 grams of CBD in this product, and they're going to charge about 500 quid there for it. Like, that's ridiculous. So it's a bit cheaper than what the other products were, if you were basing it off of the cannabinoids. But still, yeah, I see a lot of comments coming in there as well. Farmers corrupt to the core. Yeah, that's it. This is just like, if anybody's out there saying, "Oh, this is great news," that's great news for the investors of Jazz Pharmaceuticals. It's great for the investors of Bedrocan. It's great for the investors of the Can E-pill. But for the patients, the patients still have to try all of these other drugs before they're even considered access to these ones. It's ridiculous, and you would still be criminalised if you were to be growing and make these products yourself at home. And there wouldn't be much different between what you would grow and process yourself at home and those except for the standards that they put in place. But the plant, like the seed that they use, it's all the same. It's all the same. It's just the SOPs, the rigor of the process. That's the only other real difference there between what you would grow and process yourself at home and what these guys do. Maybe tissue culture there as well on the Bedrocan side, but great day for Big Pharma anyway, isn't it? Others out there, comments coming in. Hi, Homegrown. It's going easy though, not being much of a challenge. And he's on day one of giving up the old tobacco. Or no, that's a tolerance break, is it? What are you doing now, Homegrown? You're not allowed to have a tolerance break, man. No, you'd have, no, you can't. Your podcast is called High and Homegrown. That's disingenuous. That's very misleading. That's shenanigans, mister. You can't be doing that. Anytime you're allowed to give up weed is like when you go to sleep. And even then you need to be dreaming of taking bong hits and being high and homegrown. You need to live that shit, man. B9F, Schedule 1 drugs have no medicinal benefits, ? There you go. That's it. And where's cannabis? It's a Schedule 1 drug. what is going on here? Like, how are they keep approving these? They've 4 products approved there for use now under the medicinal cannabis access program. The Can Epil, the 2 cannabis flowers from Bedrocan. They have the Tilray one actually, which is another oral solution, and now they have the Epidiolex. So that's actually 5 products there on under the medicinal cannabis access program. But yet, cannabis has no medicinal benefit and a high potential for abuse. So therefore, it's a Schedule 1 narcotic, and it's completely out of bounds for me, you, or anybody else to be able to grow this at home for themselves. John, God forbid you became some way self-sufficient and taking care of your fucking health. Forgive me for cursing, sorry. Hype says, surprisingly the same here, hard to sleep on day 1, but doing okay, reading up and taking a mint for a reset. Might give it a go because I'd love to re-break my cherry. Nice. Best of luck on that one, Hype. Stopped sugar yesterday too, craving chocolate already. Oh, get yourself some proper raw organic cacao powder and mix that with like some nice whipped cream, whipped cream there, bit of cacao powder. If you want, stick a bit of sugar in there maybe or something like that. Or not sugar, sorry, jeez, you're giving up that. Honey is what I meant to say. Stick in a bit of honey. Ooh, there's a nice lovely treat, but just don't go overboard in the honey as well, because that'll send your insulin through the roof as well, like just like sugar will. So I and homegrown, I should stop streaming and leave it to everyone else. But then it'll never get done, so you're stuck with the on high version of me. Oh no. Right, let's drive on then, guys, as the next headline fee is coming out of the Irish courts, where in the Irish courts, this is the case of John Murphy. This is the retired Irish Garda, who was caught there recently with over 13,000 euro worth of cannabis. Like, this guy, I believe he was caught with was it 50 or 60 grand's worth of cannabis, and all the media could say was he was caught with over 13,000 euros worth of cannabis. They didn't want to name him initially, but he got named then afterwards as the court case went through, and it's Garda Murphy. And interestingly enough about this Garda as well, as part of, I believe his retirement party, he had a big swanky old retirement party thrown from above there in the Aviva Stadium, interestingly enough. And I'd imagine there was probably some high profile guests above there. But interestingly, this Garda is back in today's 420 news as the court case is being put on the backbench again, as they're waiting for the file for the DPP to be sent. So there's 2 Gardaí currently working full-time preparing a file for the DPP, and they have over 50 statements to process and an excess of 600 lines of inquiry. So this is a big report, 50 statements. So you're talking a minimum of 50 pages there, and then over 600 lines of inquiry. You're talking a minimum of 1 page per line of inquiry, I would imagine. That's a lot of paperwork to be going through. That has to be sent to the DPP now, and the DPP need to go through all of this to make sure all of the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed and all of this stuff. And then they'll send back the directions then to the court. We're paying for this. This guy, this ex-Garda, retired guard, and getting imagine a state pension and all of this stuff then as well. He's getting free legal aid as well on top of all of this. So there's a massive expense being associated with this. When it need not be the case. This retired guard, he need not be a disgraced individual, because this prohibition should not have existed in the first place. It's a synthetic situation that's arose because we've brought about this prohibition that's completely anti-human. And when you put in some anti-human laws around the supply of a product which people want, there's a high demand for this product out there. People are going to break that law. They're going to break that law, and including the fucking enforcers of that law. So this dude, I don't know how many people he's brought to the fucking before the judges, before the courts. But all of that's in question. I wonder now, is if you were ever brought to the prison, a court, whatever, by this guy, could his cases all be brought to question now? like the integrity of the work that he was doing at the time. Like, is there any integrity left in any of the work that he's done? Like, let's say that you were brought up in a drug dealing charge. Could you not come forward and say, well, this guy was actually a dirty cop and he must have been working with a local gang? Because look, as I said back then, I wasn't guilty. I wasn't even dealing drugs. This guy planted them on me, like. Do you know, I do you know what the story is, like? Because imagine if that is the case, like you're a young fella on the side of the road, this dirty cop comes up and you're selling somewhere you're not supposed to be, maybe. He comes down and he says, like, oh yeah, look, I found you a 50 bag on you, look. And then the cop pulls out another fucking ounce or two out of his pocket and he says, well, look, actually, there's a bit more cannabis there now, that this isn't good for you at all. Like, you're going down. And it's your word against him. Like, imagine you going into the garda station and say, the guard planted the cannabis on me. Who's going to believe you? Nobody's going to believe you, especially if you're some young fella in a hoodie at the side of the road. They're not going to believe you, like. No, I know that might be outside of that might be a stretch of the truth there, like, but it is a possibility, like, that this is a retired guard who was already caught, like, being engaged in drug dealing. So who's to say that he wasn't already fucking breaking other laws while actively supposedly enforcing those laws? So, bad day for the taxpayers here in Ireland as we take a massive hit enforcing the prohibition of cannabis again, when, you know, that same 50, 60 grand's worth of cannabis that this Garda was caught with, that could have brought in, you know, if we put a 23% tax on it, let's say, that could have brought in close to like almost 15 grand there for the local community, and it could have employed how many people as well at the same time. But now, instead, we're doing this. We're disgracing a man at the end of his life. Well, sorry to anybody out there listening who's the same age as this dude. But, you know, he's at retirement age. He's at the end of his life. He's retired now, like, you know. So, and he's been dragged through the courts like this. It's absolutely ridiculous. And he's not the only elderly gentleman being taken advantage of or being used, I suppose, because of this prohibition. No, this is next case is coming out of Westport in County Mayo, where the Gardaí raided an individual's home in Westport and they found 50 grams of cannabis worth €1,000. And again, the value of cannabis there, it's incredibly inflated because of the prohibition of cannabis. If you were over in somewhere like America, like for that same €1,000, you would get 1,000 grams. Like, honestly, I would imagine you would probably get a kilo of cannabis. Well, maybe a half a kilo. You would probably get a pound of cannabis for about €1,000. I don't know, there's probably someone in the comments out there maybe in America right now who could say, no, Martin, you'd actually get a kilo for €1,000. €1,000 is about, like, fucking, what's that? What's the dollar now at the moment? Is it about $1,100, $1,200? Not too sure what the exchange there is, like, but, 2.2 pounds for $1,000 odd, maybe, like. But here in Ireland, 50 grams, $1,000, like, you know, as part of the valuation of the courts. But it's not far off it currently. It's not too far off it. 3.5 grams, 50 quid is kind of the standard. That's what you would expect. But there's people out there paying 50 quid for 3 grams, 50 quid for 2.5 grams. And then I hear the horror story, I haven't heard them in a while, of people getting caught for 2 grams for 50 quid. Like, that's a real horror story, man. And don't get me started on the Cali stuff. I'm not even going to go talking about the Cali stuff because I'll be ranting for another 5 minutes. CG says they're making it all up. They're effing making it all up. I'd say just to push the price up in the illegal market. Then they can charge of that much when they legalise it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, you know, because if cannabis is legal and you're looking at regulators now, the regulators now talking about it, and they're using like the current prohibition market prices as the guide prices for the regulated market. No, you need to take the current prohibition market prices and you need to cut them by like fucking, I don't know, 2/3. And there you go, like that's a price that you could start working with, like if you're currently paying 20 quid per gram, like if you want to be removing the criminality from it, you need to be able to be buying that, like, you know, at a minimum of €5 and a maximum of maybe €10 per gram at the retail side of it. Do you know, if the government come along and they put too high a tax on this, like, you're just going to see the continuation of the black market, or just more and more people maybe growing their own, or you know, just selling a little bit as well in the side of which is the black market, I guess. So yeah, there was a 70-year-old man then said to be assisting the Gardaí above there in County Mayo. So I'm not too sure what the situation is there when they say that. Like, was the 70-year-old man actually the guy who had the cannabis? Is he the guy going to be brought to court from it? Is he covering for a grandson, you know, and something like that? Is it for a relative? Maybe his own son, his own daughter, maybe. You know, who knows what the situation is there. But a 70-year-old man above there in Mayo is helping the Gardino with their investigation. If he's none of what I just mentioned there, like if he's like just assisting him with the investigation, is his life now at risk? Is that 1,000 quid's worth of cannabis, you know, belong to some scumbag within Westport, and he's going to go up there and he's going to break the old man's legs? I don't know, but like it's not a good situation anyway. Again, another man in his 70s, to be out there, you know, he shouldn't be assisting the guards with this because the guards shouldn't even be investigating this. CG says it should be 50 a kilo. Yeah, you know what I mean? I would agree with you there, man. Because like if you can buy, like, think of it this way: if you can buy a kilo of sugar, you can buy a kilo of sugar for what's that? A kilo of sugar, like a €3 or something like that, like a €2 there for a kilo of sugar. Okay, think about how much sugar cane you have to grow to get a kilo of sugar. You have to grow a fair bit of sugar cane, like. And what's sugar cane? It's a plant just like cannabis. Well, if you can grow sugarcane and extract the sugar from sugarcane, process it to make your white processed sugar, why can't you just grow a cannabis plant, dry it in a simple way? Like it's not even that intensive, like the amount of processing that goes into it. Maybe the trimming actually, sorry, maybe the trimming, but that can be all automated. There's no reason why you should be paying much more than what you're currently paying for your sugar, really, for your cannabis. Like. So yeah, I would agree with your CG. €50 a kilo. Yeah, why not? Like, why fucking not? It's literally a seed you put in the plant. It's a seed you put in the ground. A plant grows from it, and that's it. Like, you show me a farmer out there who would charge you €50 for a kilo of his tomatoes. They just wouldn't. They wouldn't charge you €50 for a kilo of tomatoes. You wouldn't pay it. Why would you pay for cannabis? Why? Because of the synthetic situation that's created. Like, it's an artificial environment that was created because of prohibition. There's an artificially high demand there for cannabis, and an artificially low supply, I suppose, if you will. You know, although it's not too hard to get, but it's artificially low. There's a fella out there sitting on ounces, kilos and stuff like, but you just ring him for the 50 bag. You've no idea what he has. He has no idea what he has either, you know what I mean? But it shouldn't be what it is anyway. The current situation is just a fucking mess. B9F. GW uses British sugar distilleries to process the cannabis. Yep, that's true. Yep, GW and British Sugar have a nice old deal struck up where British Sugar stopped growing the beets. But again, like, think about that. Like, you know, British Sugar were growing sugar beets all along. And next, all of a sudden, now these same facilities that were growing the sugar beets are now growing cannabis, and they're probably making, I would say, maybe 10 to 100 times more off of the cannabis per acre, whatever, than they were off of the sugar beets. And they want to keep it that way, so that's why they want to keep the prohibition in place, and that's why me and you and everybody else out there, we need to get up and say, hey, enough is a fucking enough. Like, this law is it's anti-human, it's inhumane, it's a violation of our human rights, and we will not accept it any longer. You know, I know that outlaw dude is out there again. He was putting up these fucking things outside of the court there. Seen a video of him earlier. But again, what we need to do is we all just need to unite, and we all just need to collectively together on the same day just break that law. And I'm thinking of organising something, maybe a Christmassy gathering. I know we're having one tomorrow, but a protest style one. I had intended to do a protest on the 1st of December, but sadly I didn't get around to it as just some family stuff just came up there on the 1st of December, and I wasn't available to get out there and give myself to a protest for the day, because the protest I was intending on engaging in potentially could have ended up in me getting arrested, although none of the other ones did, but just, you know, whatever. But on the 21st of December, which is the winter solstice, I was thinking of doing a sit-down protest in Cork City. You bring your own chair. just bring a chair, like a little pop-up camping chair. Just bring your own chair and bring your own joint. Bring a cannabis joint. Bring your bong with you. Bring your oil with you. Bring your edible with you. And I'll bring the music. We'll sit down. We'll listen to some Christmas cannabis carols, Christmas cannabis tunes. Maybe we might even be able to pull together a little choir of our own and have a little sing-song. But on the 21st of December, and I haven't any graphics or anything like that, any posts are made for this yet. But on the 21st of December in Cork City, I would like to get a gathering going, a little festive gathering, and on the shortest day of the year, let's stage a little protest in the city. Bring candles with us and stuff like that. We light little candles and yeah, we smoke our doobs then. But I would like to get one more protest in before the end of the year. So I'll throw it out there. I'll see what happens. See if there's interest in it. See if people are willing to show up there on the 21st of December. Bring a chair. We have a sit-down protest. Consumer cannabis, engage in civil disobedience right in the centre of the city. I'm intending to do this down outside of Brown Thomas, right in the centre of the city there. So this will be as well at the kind of the height of the Christmas shopping then as well. So town will be quite busy, adding to the reach and the impact of the protest there on the day. So the 21st of December, guys, weather permitting, hopefully all goes well and the weather will be on our side. Otherwise, we'll go back to the drawing board and we might do a rework around. But other than that, 21st of December looks to be the next protest that will be happening. The last protest of the year, actually, outside of the civil disobedience that happens here on 420 News. The Enlightened Mank. They lie and say weed is bad and it is healthy food and can make clothes, stop oil production, stop plastic production, and stop the world being destroyed, and they don't let people use it for the good means. Yep. It's inhumane because we're destroying our planet because of these laws. You know, I know you say stop plastic production, but what you actually mean is to start a meaningful production of biodegradable plastics that could be made from fibers from the hemp plant. Hemp plant is an incredible plant, especially when you combine it with something like flax. There's some great studies out there looking at the combination of hemp fibers and flax fibers, and combining those together and making composites that are stronger than steel. Like that, that's mad. Plant fibers that you can combine and make a material that's stronger than steel. And not to mention that, or to mention then also the energy potential, because they're talking about the potential of using the carbon from the hemp plant to produce graphene, which is incredibly important in these the what are they called, the transmission of electricity anyway. Conducting of electricity, I'm not too sure, but they use graphene anyway for electricity. It's whatever the term is gone for me noggin at the moment. CG says Jack Herrera knew the kin effing score. Yeah, shame that government doesn't pull their heads out of their arse and wake up to the use of hemp. Yeah, no, you're spot on, CG. Jack Herrera, you know, there was many people out there who highlighted the benefits of this plant. And I believe maybe that our governments mightn't have been acting in the best interest of individuals, and maybe in the interest of the masses and more in the interest of individuals, and keeping this prohibition in place. You look at it, like, again, yes, session begins in an hour. We won't be late. But if you look at it, the introduction of cannabis prohibition, it came back at a time when alcohol prohibition was ending. You had people out there who were looking for, something else that they can demonize, and now along comes just cannabis that they could use alongside of the racism that was also present at the time. Then they're all just snowballed really from there. And at a time as well when the masses, they were distracted by other stuff going on. You had within Ireland we had our own troubles going on here, you know, back in the 1920s, all of the troubles that went on right up until the 70s, 80s here. In America, you know, you had the World War II going on. You had some other stuff going on over there as well. So people were distracted. There was other stuff going on over there. And along comes this prohibition, and like it just happens overnight. Meanwhile, your cannabis medicines just disappear out of your cupboard. But it's okay because they're replacing them. What are they replacing them with? Aspirin, morphine, and all of these other fucking petrochemical based drugs. But yeah. Yeah, there you go, CG. Yeah. F does mention names there. Anslinger, Nixon, Reagan. Yeah, and there's probably a few more you could add to that list as well. Even all of all of the current ministers in charge of our drug policy and the health. You know who you are, Mr. Fian and Mr. Donnelly. And even their predecessors as well. You know, you all had an opportunity to do some right when you were there in power, and you didn't. You didn't. You sat in your hands and you did feck all. So shame on ye all. Let's drive on, guys, and get through the other headlines that I have lined up for you today as we go from Westport to Templemore in County Tipperary, where cannabis was found in the search of a house in Templemore. And this was the house of a father of two, a full-time plasterer. I don't know, is he self-employed plasterer or what's the crack? But he's a full-time plasterer, and he was ordered into a 12-month peace bond after cannabis was found at his property. Now, they didn't state how much cannabis was actually found at his property within the court reports. But it's interesting to see, you know, that all of these cases where people are not getting jail sentences, you know, I would imagine that the cannabis here was a small quantity because the court was accepting that it was for his own personal use. But in another case coming up right after this is that another man was caught growing cannabis, and he told the courts that he was growing that cannabis to invest in Bitcoin. And the man said that he hoped to make €20,000 so that he can invest that €20,000 in Bitcoin in hope of doubling the money or his investment so that he could set about building a house for his son. So again, in this case, this guy was up before the courts, and the judge, despite all of the cannabis that the guy got caught with, the guards came down and raided this guy's house. So again, there's big cost to the state here involved in this operation. This is the home of Edmund O'Flaherty, who's 47 years of age. Don't know if he's got kids or whatever that might have been present. But at the house anyway, they found 36 cannabis plants in one room. They found 2 kilos of cannabis in another room, and they found €10,000 in cash also in the house, along with weighing scales and other drug paraphernalia. When interviewed by the Garda, he said that it was a loan from his mother about the money that was received, and the Garda Nugent told the court that it was not believed to be the profit of drug dealing. So he was able to kind of bluff that one anyway. His mum was probably just after getting a loan of 10 grand and was able to kind of bluff it. Maybe it was genuinely a loan from his mother, who knows. But he told the Gardaí then that he intended to make €20,000 in profit and then invest that into Bitcoin in order to double his money with the goal of building a house for his son. The Garda Nugent said that the state accepted that he hadn't started dealing yet and described him as a person of no means who was living with his mother. The defence barrister, so this was his mother's home who was raided here. The defence barrister, Connell, said that his clients cooperated fully with the Gardaí and entered the plea at the earliest opportunity. So he's pleading for a bit of leniency here from the judge. And he's also stating that at the time O'Flaherty believed that cannabis would be legalised in Ireland soon and wanted to get ahead of the game. Man, fair play, dude. Fair fucking play for being so honest, man. Like, literally, I'm going to see if I can get in touch with this dude because he seems like an interesting character, like, and he's very open and honest as well about what he's doing. You know, fair play to him. Like, this is another example of an Irish entrepreneur being held back because of this prohibition. This guy, you know, it seems like he's ambitious. He's got his head somewhat screwed on, all right? He's 47, living at home with his mum, but he's trying to get his fucking act together. Like, who knows what situation arose there where he finds himself 47 living with his mum. Maybe it's because he's looking after his mum and he's actually a kind-hearted individual. Like, you know, who knows? But this guy could have been providing an incredible service to the community, employing people growing high quality cannabis, keeping young people safe by enforcing, an age limit, and all of that stuff. Not selling to young people, it's the most beneficial piece of illegal market of cannabis. But this guy, because of the Section 15 of the Misuse of Drugs Act, because the value of the drugs he got caught with was more than €13,000, he should be getting a mandatory 10-year prison sentence. But you want to know what he got? Nothing. He got a suspended sentence. He got a 3-year suspended sentence. He was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison, reduced to 3 years after considering the mitigating factors and ordered O'Flaherty to do community service or face prison. So the individual is going to get a 3-year suspended sentence and a bit of community service there. Do you know? The guy literally got caught with, he got caught with 36 plants, and he got caught with another 2 kilos that was worth over €40,000. And he got caught with 10 grand in cash as well, which was a loan from his mother. All right, we leave that one off. But look, what's going on in the Irish courts? Like, why aren't we sending people to prison? Not that I want them to be sending people to prison, but why are we bringing people to court only to just to send them home again, to give them an old slap on the wrist, an old telling off, and hope that they don't break the same law? And meanwhile, like, how many people are lined up to come into court for the very same fucking law, and you're going to probably treat them all the same fucking way, like? Because is this value for money for taxpayers? It's not. It's not, because like, if there's a law and if somebody breaks that law, well, you would want them to face a punishment for it. Well, this law actually isn't really protecting anybody, so we're just going to like give people like slight punitive punishments. That's all, slight punitive punishments. An old fine, an old charity donation there, look to the poor box. But like, why? Why are we doing this? Like, while we're doing this, we're making the environment much more dangerous for kids out there, because cannabis is being sold by fucking every Tom, Dick and Harry. Literally every Tom, Dick and Harry out there is selling a bit of cannabis because it's easy money. Literally, it's easy money. If you can get a good source of cannabis, if you can get cannabis, if you can get an ounce for €300 or less, you'll make money. Like, honestly, like, I know there's fellas out there and they'll buy an ounce for £300, and in about 2 hours, they'll have 400 quid in their pocket. So that they're up 100 quid within 2 hours. Like, showing me a job out there where you can go in and do 2 hours work and get 100 quid. There's not many of them out there. Like, do you know what I mean? So like, it's tempting. Like, of course it's fucking tempting. Like, you go get an ounce, you break that ounce into 850 bags, you turn €300 into €400. Easy money. And then what did it take? Like, you walk down the road, collect the ounce, walk back up, rebag it. The stuff sells itself. Like, once people know you have it, it's gone. It's as good as gone. Seriously, guys, we just need to band together. We need to stand up against this law, and that's the only way we're gonna change it. 21st of December, I'm going to get my ass up off the seat. I'm going to get out of there onto the streets. It's going to be a Wednesday. It's midweek. So we'll be live from it's a Tuesday. Apologies, it's a Tuesday. So it's midweek. So we'll be live from the city on a Tuesday, and we're going to do a sit-down Christmas civil disobedience protest. We'll work on a title there for that one. We'll get a better title. But we move on from that case and we go to another case. And again, this is another case of where a guy doesn't get sent to prison after getting caught with €11,000 worth of cannabis. Now, albeit, this is €2,000 shy of the 10-year minimum mandatory, but it's like, well, a 10-year minimum mandatory is only €2,000 more. Well, like, surely this guy, you would think, would get like, what, 3-4 years, like, or something like that for having €11,000 worth of illegal drugs? No, he doesn't. Look at the guy, gets nothing. He gets a suspended sentence again. He gets sent on home. This is a man who was caught holding €11,000 worth of cannabis to pay off a drug debt. This is the case of a guy by the name of Martin Sands. So he's 29 years of age. So Martin Sands in his 20s. Young man, just yet to reach his 30s. But the judge described him as playing an a very important function for the drug trade. By agreeing to hold drugs, but because he was not gaining financially from his offending, the Judge Greeley, offered the defendant a 3-year imprisonment, but it suspended the sentence in its entirety, as long as the defendant accept the strict conditions with his sentence. So the conditions there, along with that, obviously, it's probably signing on at the local garda station, maybe on a weekly basis, providing a mobile number there that has to be on 24 hours a day, and he has to make sure that the guards have that number. He has to be probably keeping to a curfew there as well. So all of this, again, requires more input by the state, because you now have 2 guards who must call out to this guy's house. You now have a guard behind the counter who must bring a book up to the desk to have this guy sign his name to say that he showed up there to sign a fucking book because he got caught with a bit of cannabis. This is all expenses that us, the state, are paying, us taxpayers are paying. What value are we getting for it? Like, by right, this guy should have went to prison. He broke the law, he should have went to prison. Now, I don't want him to go to prison. I want none of these guys to go to prison, but I don't want him to be going to court either. I don't want the Gardaí to be wasting their time targeting them either, you know? Like, some people will say, sure, like, the courts are going easy on people. No, the courts are wasting Irish taxpayers' money. That's what their fucking courts are doing. They're not going easy on people. They're not upholding the law. Like, people should be getting punished for this, and they should be upholding the law, and they're not doing it. Like, why are they not doing it? Because the prisons would be overwhelmed. Imagine if everybody getting caught with their 50 bag was getting a prison sentence. The prisons would be chock-a-block. All your buddies would be up there. Like, everybody you fucking know would be up there. Like, you know, there'd be probably hundreds more prisons being built around the country to lock us all up. Like, you know, they just couldn't do it. They just couldn't do it. And that's what they're admitting here. They're not sending anybody to prison. You've 3 cases in a row there now where you've had people getting suspended sentences, peace bonds. You know, how many cases have we reported on there over the years where people are getting caught with a couple of ounces and stuff like that, and they're getting suspended sentences, they're getting charity donations, you know, literally slap on the wrists. It's a mess, like, it's an absolute mess. We should have legalised this plant 8 fucking years ago when Luke Flanagan brought that bill forward, because, like, imagine how much money we would have made in the state over that 8 years. Like, over that 8 years, we've criminalised, just imagine we've criminalised 15,000 people every year for personal possession of cannabis. I don't know if that number is too high or whatever, but it is a quite a high number. I think there's like 18,000 people per year on average getting criminalised for personal possession of drugs. I'd imagine the cannabis makes up a good 70% of that, so that's where I'm saying 15,000 people. But imagine, like, you know, if you would have had 8 years of 15,000 people not having to go to courts, imagine the saving that the state would have made there. And then that 8 years where the 550,000 people there, going by the 17% from the Eurobarometer, all of those people would have been buying a regulated product, paying taxes. The people working within the industry would have been paying income taxes. The state are after missing out on multiple billions of euros. And you know who's got it? The Kinahans, the Hutches, you know, and whatever other drug gang families are out there. Like, those are the people who are going to get the money, while the state has lost out in a major way. People like myself, you know, I've lost out. I've sacrificed a lot of my own time and life just fucking to highlight the suffering, the waste that's caused by this. But then you've other people out there who've, like, you know, Alicia Maher. Look at the way she's had to pay for it. Like, she's lost her home. She's now exiled. She's living in another country, you know? So many people, like, just really paying unfairly because of this failed prohibition. And we need to change it. Like, we can no longer afford to continue paying this. I can't anyway. I can't take this. Cannabis is beneficial for me. It's a medicine. The stress caused by prohibition, it's a fucking poison on society, and it needs to be removed. And shout out to John H there as well, who just got in an old super chat with an old lemon character dancing. Nice one, John H. What is it? A lemon character lifting baby lemon in the air to congratulate him. Nice one. Thanks very much. I'd imagine that's a congratulations coming in on the birth of my new son there. So thanks very much for that, John H. I really appreciate that. Legend. Let's blaze one up there for John H. As I see a bowl packed up next to me there. I don't know that I even blazed one up since I started the show. I think I did. John H, this is for you. Oh. Schleinte, guys. Schleinte, John H. Cheers for the support. So let's drive on as we see another headline coming out of County Cavan. And in County Cavan, there's been the discovery of 800 cannabis plants growing in a house. And one man aged in his early 20s was arrested at the scene, and he's detained at Cavan Garda Station. Excuse me. This occurred, I believe, on Wednesday evening, just after 9 p.m. on the outskirts of Cavan town, when the Gardaí this was on Monday evening, apologies, when the Gardaí executed a search warrant of a property there in Cavan, and they found the 800 cannabis plants that have been said to be worth approximately 97,600 euro. So quite a lot of plants. I'll pop them up on screen there now for you to see. So a nice old setup there, in fairness. These were being grown under HPS lights, high pressure sodium lights for those who don't know. And I'll pop up the other ones there on the other side. So a nice old setup, like, in fairness. And lovely looking plants as well. It doesn't look like they're doing a lot of training or anything like that. But there does look to be a bit of pruning done on the lower end, but not a whole lot. I know people who would definitely do a lot more training and pruning of the plants than that, but that's not to say that there's not a lot of effort gone into these. These plants look very nice, and it's a shame now that they're up there somewhere in a Garda evidence locker, just rotting away. And some young fella then in his 20s, you know, he's going to be dragged through the courts now, his whole life, future jeopardised. You know, if he was to get the minimum mandatory of 10 years, like, this guy goes from his 20s to his 30s, like, in prison. That's a sad place to make that transition, you know. The prime of your life just snuffed out because you decided to grow some plants. And most likely the case is this individual in his 20s was probably just, like, being paid to be a gardener there, you know, or something along those lines. It was probably part of some bigger operation, you know, where this grow house was a part of a number of grow houses spread across the country, and to get young fellas in the work, you know, just like go in there, mind those plants, and like you get a free gaff to live in there and free rent, and we'll give you free weed there as well, look, and whatever. I don't know how much people might be getting paid, like, but it's there's a lot of money to be made off it, you know. If you're going to be getting, like, what the guards say here, 97,600, to be honest, that's like they say €800 a plant, but looking at these plants, like, potentially if you're getting, like, more than 2 ounces off of a plant, like, you could be looking at more than €800 a plant at the street level, you know. If you're talking wholesale, maybe not so much. But yes, it's a sad case when you hear a young fella losing the potential to lose the 10 years of his fucking life. And this was a part of Operation Tara. Well done, bitch. Nice plans, isn't it, like? Yeah, Zagold says, lovely sea of green. CG says, 122 a plant, for feck's sake. They're taking the piss with the prices of cannabis. Seriously, taking the piss. No, it's 800 a plant. €800 a plant. So 800 plants. Sorry, that should be 80 actually, shouldn't it? Nope. Yeah, I messed up the number there. It was 97,600. 122 plants. 122 plants. That's my bad. CG, 122 plants. That's how many plants were there, not 800. So that was my bad there. I don't know where the hell I got 800 from. So my bad. But still, 122 plants. Hype saying a decent setup. It is indeed a decent setup now, and all of this equipment as well is going to be destroyed. And guess who pays for the destruction of this equipment? The taxpayers. Yeah. F Terra. Yeah, and there is probably a bit of dodgy with the electrics as well. Yeah. Of course, like so like if you're going to be growing cannabis legally in a house, like sure, why would you be wanting to be paying for the electricity? You might as well just bypass the electricity meter and just steal the electricity if you're going to be growing this many plants, like. Because, like, at least then that way they can't really monitor where the electricity is going. They can only monitor if it's actually going through the box, like, but if it's not going through the box, then you're not going to have any irregularities with your bills, are you? So again, more reasons then it's this prohibition, so people stop taking silly risks like that, because bypassing your electricity box can be quite a deadly thing to do. Yeah, still taking the piss. Yeah, 800 plant. Still taking the piss. It shouldn't be. It should be about €50 a plant, like. Let's drive on as the revenue above in Skerries, County Dublin, have seized €160,000 worth of cannabis after they searched the property above there. This was an operation that was carried out on Wednesday afternoon when the revenue assisted by the Garda National Drugs Unit and Organised Crime Bureau and the Drugs Unit of Balbriggan. They assisted revenue and they carried out the joint operation in Skerries where they searched the property and found €160,000 worth of cannabis. I believe I have a picture of the cannabis, do I? Let's see if I have a picture of the cannabis. Yeah, there we go. So we've €160,000 worth of cannabis about to pop up on the screen. And this cannabis is now again, to be destroyed, paid for by me or you, the taxpayers, and nobody's going to benefit from it at all. Shame. Crying shame. Two men, one in the 30s, one in his 40s, were arrested in Garda Síochána, by Garda Síochána in connection with the seizure. Both are currently detained under Section 2 of the Criminal Justice Drug Trafficking Act of 1996 at the Balbriggan Garda Station, and investigations are ongoing. This operation was part of Revenue's ongoing joint investigation targeting organised crime groups and the importation, sale and supply of illegal drugs. If businesses or members of the public have any information regarding drug smuggling, they can contact Revenue in confidence. Nah, don't do that, guys. Don't be a rat. Don't be a snitch. Come on now. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, not a great day for the Revenue, isn't it, Or is it, like, no, it's not. You've protected nobody. You've done no good at all. Like, that cannabis was probably destined for a number of patients here in the country who still don't, who still rely on the black market to get access to their cannabis, Whoop, whoop, we just missed 420, but it's almost 424, guys, so blaze on up if you want. It was 420 there a few minutes ago in Aruba, Barbados, and a few other places. So, yes. Hey, what's happening, Zian? Welcome to the show. Zagel says, like that old saying, don't break the law while breaking the law. That's incredibly important when you're out there in your car as well, so yes. B9F, Martin, do you ever drink your bong water by mistake? I've gotten some splashbacks, but I've never drank it by mistake. But yeah, I've gotten splashbacks. How much weight for 160,000? You're talking 8 kilos. That was 8 kilos of cannabis that was seized by the Revenue, and it's going to be destroyed now. Once the case is over and done with. What a sad waste. Imagine how many people would have been happy with 8 kilos. Like, if you're talking about 8 grams per person, or a gram per person, like, even 8 grams per person, that's a fucking 1,000 people. That's 1,000 happy people with 8 grams of bloody cannabis. Like, hopefully it's some nice dank bud inside of there too. Like, but yes. So let's drive on. Let's drive on from there. As there was a case recently during the week there where a guy was caught with 1.3 million euro worth of cannabis and other cocaine mixing agent and some cash as well. Well, this guy was up in court, and while he was up in court, he made an interesting plea to the judge, and the judge refused it. What was that plea he made to the judge? Well, it's popping up on screen now. He was pleading to the judge to go and attend an appointment that he and his fiancée have been waiting for over a year, and it was a fertility treatment appointment. So the judge effectively refused this guy the opportunity to go and spread his seed because he was caught with 1.26 million euro worth of cannabis. No, I think that's quite cruel, to be fair. Like, you know, albeit, you know, it's a large amount of cannabis, but still, nonetheless, it's still only cannabis. Like, do you know, this guy was waiting over a year to attend a fertility treatment. Do you know, that's probably cost him a few pounds, maybe. Do you know, there's probably a non-refundable appointment. I'm not too sure what the situation is there with that one. I'd imagine, you know, there's a potential there that his fiancée might be his ex-fiancée now. Come here, do you know, after this. It's like, you promised me a fucking child, and now you're going to be locked up for 10 years? Well, fuck you. Here's your fucking ring. I don't want to be your fiancé no more. Do you know that's nasty? Like, all over cannabis, like that cannabis would have brought happiness to many people. But now the prohibition of cannabis, you know, not only is it robbing the earth of a child, but it's also robbing the earth of a couple who would have been once in love. You know, it could have destroyed their relationship. You know. And so the judge refused him the opportunity to spread his seed over being him, or because he was caught with cannabis. Because obviously, you know, if the guy was attending the fertility treatment, he was obviously going to want to see if it worked afterwards. You know, he wanted bail. He wanted to be left out in bail. So yeah, Billy Bonds says he's a wanker now. Yes, he's up there with his right hand now in the cell. The old fashioned, the old hand shandy. Lousy, isn't it though? That's horrible. Like, you know, again, like, it is a lot of cannabis he got caught with, but like, I have to sympathize with the guy. I have kids, and I love my kids, but I've not, and I don't really like go around shouting this, but we didn't plan any of our kids, like. But I can imagine, like, if you're planning kids, like, he's probably actively trying for how long with his partner to get her pregnant, and there's probably issues there, like, you know, and it's probably like he's probably just, again, and this isn't down to cannabis. And in fact, you know, if you listen to a recent podcast there of Joe Rogan's, there was a woman on there with him. I can't think of her name, but she had a book out there. A really good book as well. It was about bioplastics, about phthalates. But basically she was just talking about, like, how these products are messing up, you know, with people's, like, sperm counts and stuff like that as well, like making us less fertile as time goes on. But look, we won't get into that anyway. It's possibly, you know, it's possibly down to all of this stuff. But this guy, you know, he's going to be robbed of that opportunity now, and who knows when he might get that opportunity again, because potentially he could be facing that 10-year minimum. He got caught with 1.26 million. Like, if you got caught with more than 13,000, you're supposed to get a 10-year minimum mandatory. So sorry, buddy. That's a nasty one, and my sympathies to your fiance there as well. Let's drive on from that one, and we leave Ireland for a bit. I mean, you have a bit more negative news, unfortunately, to get through, and this is in the UK. We're in the UK. A 23-year-old above in County Armagh was caught, well, this is above Northern Ireland, I suppose UK still, was caught with 50 cannabis plants. And the man was actually a victim of human trafficking. This was a 23-year-old victim of human trafficking who was caught with 50 cannabis plants. The man was shipped from Albania to Glasgow. And it was in Glasgow then that the individual, he sought asylum there within Glasgow. And then the people who shipped them to Glasgow, they brought them to Keady, which is probably a village, a town above there in Armagh. And they made him tend to the cannabis plants in order to repay the debt that he incurred with the traveling from Albania to the north of Ireland. So it's a familiar sight in the UK with Albanians. That there's seems to be a big connection there, and there was a good voice piece that was done there, kind of highlighting that the whole thing there with the Albanian mafias and stuff like that, where they were importing along the Mediterranean and stuff like that into the Italy and stuff, and then they actually found it to be more profitable to be just growing the cannabis in places like the UK and places like Ireland, in order to just supply the markets there rather than try to bring the cannabis they were growing in Albania to those countries. As the borders got a bit tighter, these guys just got a bit craftier and they just started shipping people. It's easier to ship a person in there and grow the cannabis there than it is to ship the cannabis in and have somebody try to sell it there. So that's a common occurrence there in the UK with the Albanians. So the police are investigating there. Again, this could be just applied by the Albanian gangs. It's just like, look, if you get caught, this is what you say, and they'll be lenient with you. Who knows? Could be true, could not be true, but you just don't know in this situation. And but really, you kind of want to be believing a victim of a serious crime like human trafficking, So that was a case coming out of Armagh. And then as well in Armagh as well, sticking with Armagh, and another 23-year-old too, which is interesting enough. Above in Armagh, a 23-year-old was caught with over £1 million of cannabis. So a massive, massive seizure of cannabis. It was 75 bags of cannabis weighing 80 kilos, said to have a value of just over £1 million. That was seized above there in Armagh. This is a case of Kieran Macaulay, and he was up in court yesterday for this, and he was charged with the possession of over £1 million or £1 million worth of cannabis after the authorities searched a lorry and trailer in Larne Harbour in the early hours of Tuesday morning on November 30th. The detectives from the PSNI Organised Crime Unit and the HM Revenue and Customs, working as part of the joint agency Organised Crime Task Force, they discovered the £1 million pounds worth of cannabis in the trailer. The cannabis was found in 15 similar packaged cardboard boxes, one of which was opened and vacuum packed bags with herbal cannabis were found inside of there. And other boxes were searched and similar packages were found. In total, 75 bags weighing over 80 kilos were found. I do believe I have a picture of this there as well. I'll pop that up on screen for you as well. 1 second now. Boom. Yes, there we go. Boom. 80 kilos of cannabis, guys. 75 bags of cannabis. So over a kilo, it was probably fucking about 75 kilos of cannabis really, and then all the plastic and stuff they included with the weight. But still, like it's a crying shame all of this was going to be destroyed now. All of the time and energy put into growing this, like just this game of cat and mouse. Like when's it going to end? Like when are we going to just stop this waste? It's just such a fucking it's just so messed up at a time when we're told to like watch what we're doing and not to be wasteful. Do turn off your lights, like don't leave stuff in standby. And meanwhile the government just like an inferno of cannabis, like we're just going to burn this stuff here, guys. Don't worry about us and all the energy we're going to waste here destroying this stuff. All of the energy that we waste enforcing this prohibition, the fuel used by the officers out there patrolling, trying to find this stuff. Don't worry about that, but just make sure now you use your washing machine at 30 degrees, guys, to save the planet. Do you know what I mean? What a messed up fucking world we live in right now. So yeah, that's all of the news that I have for you today, guys, on today's 420 news. Woohoo! So we're done with today's 420 news, and we'll blaze one or two more bowls up there with you guys in the hot box. Get your comments in there. We'll hit the hot box, read some of your comments there in a couple of seconds. We'll pack up a bowl there as well, and we'll get nice and blazed there for the session happening in the next 25 minutes, guys, over there on the High and Homegrown podcast. So I believe Mackie is probably on the ball, and he has the stream ready and all. We'll have a quick look. Yeah, he does. He does indeed. That's Mackie's music. We pop Mackie's on up here. Oh, we're pirating the High and Homegrown's waiting room. So there you go, guys. This is where we're going to be hanging out there after 9 o'clock this evening. So 24 minutes. Oh, look, I got a little countdown clock and all. Mackie, don't you be starting early now, you hear me? Let's pack up a bowl. Other comments coming in there. CG 1,620,000 for feck's sake prices are effing made up pie in the sky. Yeah, they're just pulling them out anywhere, man. Under prohibition, sure, like, you know, how long is a piece of string? It can be whatever you want it to be. There, Patrick Corbin says, what happened Pig in Dublin? His weed was lowered in value so he doesn't get time. I think what happened in the media is it was the Garda press office. So the Garda press office issues a press release, and it was them. It was the Garda press office who set the narrative then for the journalists afterwards. So the Guard was caught with like 60,000. So there was 60,000 worth of cannabis. That was the amount. That was I was something around that region of that amount anyway. Could have been more. It could have been 400,000. But it was quite a bit of cannabis he got caught with anyway. But it was released, and then afterwards it comes out that he was a guard, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, the amount goes down. It's over 13,000 is now the amount that was released by the press office in further communications to the press. So it's a funny one, isn't it? Like, I mean, while me or you, like, we get caught with a 50 bag there, like, and our name is going to be plastered all over the place, like, name and shame him, filthy druggie. The pothead. There, Patrick Corwin, until the country is taken back to 6 counties, to me Northern Ireland is the pussies of Ireland. Go on, DVK. High and Homegrown says the pigeon don't know shit, but he's still gonna strut around like he's winning. The boy's on about playing chess with a pigeon. No racism or sectarianism, says Hype. Yeah, hear that, guys? No racism or sectarianism. We are one. There is no borders on here. There is just cannabis. Zian says, as long as you have constant water flow, yeah. Missing some of the story there. Gin Lighten Mank Zombie, that's the thing, it does not need spinning, bro. Alright, the boys are talking about fucking 0 point energy and solving world problems here in the box. That's great. Guys, cut me in on some of the royalties and that, unless like you're going to put it out there like open source technology. Otherwise, make me one and send me one. I need some free electricity. Your man music is playing. What's this? Tinkle Tink. Martin, your stream is clashing with Pat Robertson and the 700 Club. What's that? What is this? I've never heard of this Tinkle Tink. I'm curious now. I hope it's not some porn session. Pat Robinson. Okay. Apparently Pat Robinson stepped down as the host. 20 minutes left for the session. Let's blaze one up. First, let's hide it. Oh, where's my heart? How? See what we just did there, Mackie. See what we just did. It's a religious program. Nice. Send him an email and ask him will he have me on as a guest. I love talking about religion. I wonder has he tried DMT? What's this? B9F. He says, Matty Sheep Bread Music. And CG says, Mackie is ace. Woo. Billy Bond says, the chat wankers are all here. And High and Homegrown sending me an invite there to jump in on the Zoom. Nice one, Mackie. Appreciate that. I'll see if I can get time there in a minute. I have to watch some Elf's new TV show that's dropped there on Netflix. So I'll be able to join you for like a half an hour of the session there, and I'll have to pop out then for an hour to chill with Alexis there. Promised we'll watch Elves. So, apologies. Oh, sorry guys for all the coughing. Oh, DBK. Racism is the target race or religion. I never mentioned race or religion. I just talked to piss, but you obviously a bit of an introverted. Come on now, DPK. None of that. He didn't just say racism. He said sectarianism as well, which is kind of what you did point out. But come on, man. No, hype is cool. And yeah, come on. It's all just a bit of cracking banter. Don't be calling people twatting and use your indoor voice. No more shouting in the hot box. Yes, cannabis is my religion and it's my fucking nation too. Come from the land of ganja. Yes. I'm gonna have to pack up another bowl now, guys. We need to pack up a pipe of peace there. Mend the troubles there between the north and the south divide here on the show. DPK, you're going to take the first hit, and Hype, you take the second hit, and then we're all just going to hug. Imagine that, like, you know, fucking was it Jerry Adams and who was the other guy? Who's Ian Paisley? Imagine we got Jerry Adams and Ian Paisley to kind of come in and just sit down and just like, you know, smoke some weed, then come back another day, do some mushrooms together, come back another day, do some fucking San Pedro together maybe. Imagine how much better they would have got on then. Yeah, you kind of, yeah, you are right actually. Sectarianism, the divided base of religion, which is kind of, I suppose, for me, I always would have seen that the North and South thing, you know, fucking Catholic, Protestant thing. So that's me interpreting my own perceptions, put my own perceptions onto that. But just talking about North and South, yeah, you're not necessarily talking about the religious aspect of it there, are you? No. So yeah. Yes. Big bang rip coming up, guys. Big bang rip. crack open the window there. Noel Milan, what's happening? Noel Milan says, just joined Legend Cork, living in Fermanagh. Keep up the hard work. Got support here. Nice one, Noel. Really appreciate that, legend. Vicky Varroa, what's going on? Nothing wrong in my opinion with signalling. You got something such as a virtue, but back it up with more than just words, and at least don't contradict yourself with your words when it comes to what you social justice warriors virtue signal. Allah. Yeah, Hype saying here, basically what you did is calling everyone north of the border being pussy. And DBK saying, you want to argue in racism, sectarianism, I can argue it with you, as I know more about it, being that I was an Irish neo-Nazi for years and them friends are no longer friends. Right, interesting. And Tinkle Tink, in America, religious orgs get tax-free status. No wonder it's so big over there. Yes. Well, what are those guys called? Fucking the Scientologists. Yeah. Noel Molan says, has Germany legalized weed? Was on the piss for 3 days. They've almost done it, Noel. They've almost done it. They've got a coalition government that have agreed to legalise cannabis. So it's happening. Like they've reached an agreement. They've got the bill pretty much drawn up, I believe. So it's happening. Yeah. So yeah, effectively they have done it. They just haven't done it yet. It's happening. It's the ball is rolling, and it can't be stopped. It's a 4-year research project. So they're not really legalising it. They're doing a research project. That's the way around it, but it's still going to be legal, like, you know. No, I haven't seen that yet, Paddy J. That's right. Let's be blunt. Montel Williams, Vera Toomey. There was an episode that dropped there recently, so Vera joined Montel.
Child laying there, seizing that way. What went through your mind?
I mean, I can't.
So this is up online at the moment.
I suppose.
She's got a cool little Irish flag down there. Lovely. I haven't watched this yet, so I'm not too sure how the interview went. It's just over an hour long, so do check it out. I've not checked out any of Montel's stuff before, actually, to be honest. Just limited, you know. Shout out to the High and Homegrown and to Joe Rogan. That's pretty much all I get time for, and anything else then that I can fit in between, that's just a bonus. But I do this. I do have this one on my to-do list to get around to watch, and I know Vera will probably do us all proud, and I hope to have her on someday soon. I've had a few failed attempts to get her on, I suppose. We had set dates and times, and then things would come up. Vera's busy, and we'll get around to it. We'll get around to it. We'll find a reason to get around to it again. But do check that out, guys. It's up in line since yesterday. What are some of the comments down there actually at the moment?
Be able to find.
What are people saying? The support Vera had here in Ireland from the public was phenomenal during her walk and after. Through all her friends and her family's efforts, they have eased the suffering for so many people. I have seen these people turn up in wheelchairs to thank Vera for all she has done in regards to getting this medicine legalised. Vera has done tremendous work here in creating awareness and getting the law changed. And unfortunately, you know, in regards to getting this medicine legalised, like, it's not legalised. It's not, like, unless they've changed the meaning of the word legalised. Like, you know, if I started growing this plant and using it myself, like, that's fucking not legal, Thank you, Vera. It's good to hear Ava is doing so well. No family should ever have to go through what yours has gone through. Our government has a lot to answer for. I've shared and continued to support use definitely a Dublin lady anyway, like, and she let you know and all, Denise from Dublin, to support use. Yes, gotta love those dubs. Blessings to Ava and Vera and family. So a lot of support coming in here. Like, thank you for the one Montel. Vera is quite an amazing woman. Vera is an amazing woman. Have you tried having your child listening to Healing Hearts? So yeah, check that out, guys. Go back to the high and homegrown. Oh, 8 minutes. Oh shit, we're almost there. Almost there, Mackie. Mackie, I hope you're ready. We'll start ending this one here shortly, guys. So, yes, get your comments in if you want me to read it. We've got like less than 4 minutes. 4 minutes, 20 seconds. We'll sign off. I think we got enough time for one more ball. Yeah, 4 minutes, 20 seconds. Sounds like enough time. Yes, nice, Hunter K. Happy days. Hunter K is just saying in the comments there that he will have seeds arriving Monday or Tuesday to start his collection of genetics. Hunter K, I believe, is collecting genetics, so seed genetics, for the day when the plants are illegal to grow. Nice, Hunter K. Best of luck with the collection. And Hunter K, it's still on my to-do list. I'm going to get down to you, Hunter K. I'm going to join Hunter K on one of his walks down there in Waterford. So definitely it's on my to-do list as well, Hunter K. Not forgetting about you. Just been up the walls here lately, but we will find time to get down there and join you on one of those walks. I know you're saying you're starting a new job or something soon, but hopefully we can get down there soon. DPK as well. Boom. Vicky Aurora. Kid Cudi was a moon man in the song The Adventure in Moonman and Slim. Didn't know that. Zombie Nation. Right, time to go and do ours. Catch you all later. Catch you later, Zombie. I'm going to blaze up one more bowl here, and we're going to say goodbye to everybody as well. Get Montel on the show, bro, says Paddy J. Yeah, it'll be an interesting one, alright. I'll have to look into Montel to get him on. I don't know much about the guy. I haven't done much reading on it. I've heard of him. I've heard of his show and stuff like that. He looks familiar. He's probably had a show somewhere else before cannabis. I know he's big because he's like made that transition over. I'll be having Jimmy White on. Jimmy White from Pro Cannabis Media. I'll have to have him on. He's an interesting character as well, a sports broadcaster who transitioned from sports broadcasting over to being a cannabis broadcaster. Their show is Pro Cannabis Media, which I was a guest of as well. So check out these guys as well. They've got some very good videos up there, very good interviews. Yeah, it's a good place to get some information about cannabis from stateside. They do tend to do international shows from time to time, and I'm the Irish correspondent for them. And I've joined them from time to time then myself, just fill them in on what's going on here in Ireland. So yes, give them a follow over there on Pro Cannabis Media. That's Jimmy White is one of the presenters over there. The other guy is David Bressernick, I think, or something along those names. I can never get his name. But yes, check him out anyway. High and Homegrown's going to be starting in a couple of seconds, guys. So let's blaze this one up and we'll start saying goodbye. Charlie Charlson. Was so simple and easy to get bud delivered right to my door in less than an hour in Canada. Now I gotta sit here and wait however many years without a drop to legalization. Charlie, man, don't sit and wait, dude. Get out there today and get yourself a nice little grow kit. Get yourself some seeds, dude, and just grow your own, man. Don't wait. Don't wait. Like, dude, you know, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than to wait to ask for if they get permission, So don't mind it, dude, if you can at all, No, not Jimmy White, the snooker player. Sports broadcaster. From Canada, I believe he's based in. Let's blaze up anyway. Catch you over there, Hunter K. Nice one, John H. Have a good one yourself as well. Have a good weekend. I made a new little lower third as well. Watch this one. Oh, she's a bit big. There we go. Stay blazed, guys. Vicky Rohr, Morgan Freeman only recently became outspoken, I think, about cannabis being medicine, by the way. Yeah, Morgan Freeman is outspoken. He's got a big meme out there that's doing the rounds. So yeah, he's quoted there of talking about the benefits of cannabis, and I believe he's a benefiter of medicinal cannabis too. Hype, stay blitzing. Nice. I see what you did there. I see what you did, Hype. I like that. I like that. Might have to steal that one, Hype. So right, guys, have a splendid weekend, and definitely, yes, stay blazed, stay blitzing, and keep her lit. Don't forget to check out the High and Homegrown, which is going to be starting any second now over there on the High and Homegrown channel on YouTube. So check those guys out, and otherwise I'll be back on Monday, guys, with more 420 news. So have a lovely weekend, stay safe, guys, and catch you next Monday. Peace.